Hi, friends. This is the reading lesson for second grade. We are going to do a word study read today. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these. So, as a reminder, we are going to read through this story. We are going to answer some comprehension questions, and then we will highlight a spelling pattern. So, we are going to read the story called Grandpa's Treasure Chest. It is on page 22. Please turn to that now. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of this page, you will see that the genre of this story is a realistic fiction. So we know the word fiction means fake, so not a true story, but the word realistic, I see the word real in it. So realistic fiction means that it is not a true story or based on a true story, but it could be something that could actually happen. So a treasure chest now, which is in the title, we know that pirates, are looking for gold in a treasure chest. What does that mean? So a treasure chest is a chest that has treasure in it. Now, treasure typically means something like gold, but treasures can be other things as well. So I want you to think about that. Do you think we're going to find gold in this grandpa's treasure chest? Or do you think his treasures might be something else? While we are reading, I want you to pay attention to A, what did the boy and his grandpa or dad find in the chest? B, where did they find it? And what did the little boy learn about his grandpa? What did he learn about his grandpa in this treasure chest? All right, let's get going.
Word study read.
Grandpa's treasure chest. Last week, I went to my grandpa's house. Dad and I went into the attic to look around. Dad said we might find some old toys. Instead, we found something better. Grandpa's old chest. It was filled with lots of stuff from his life. First, we found a stack of photos. They weren't in color. They were in black and white. In one photo, Grandpa was running around his farm. He had lots of animals to take care of. Dad told me a story about a time Grandpa was making butter from cow's milk. He spilled all the milk. In another photo, Grandpa was riding to town on a horse. Dad said they didn't have cars when Grandpa was young. Grandpa loved taking horseback rides. Back then, they had no TV, no computers, no video games. They rode horses for fun. I think I would have liked riding horses too. Then we found an old uniform and some medals. Grandpa fought in a big war. He won medals for being brave. I am planning to ask him about that. I learned so much about Grandpa from looking at the things from his past.
I really like this little story. I just think it's so sweet. And maybe if you've ever found some little treasures at your own grandparents' house, you might know what this little boy is feeling like as he's going through his grandpa's stuff. Now, I have gone through my grandparents' stuff before, and I love seeing the things that they had collected, and I loved looking at old photos of them. It's just so interesting. All right, grab your pencils. We are going to underline the answers to these questions. So, first of all, where did they find the chest? If you're not sure, go back in paragraph 1. I want you to underline the one word of where they found it. All right. So you should have underlined the word attic. The attic is a place in your house that is above the normal living area. Some houses have lots of space. It's almost like another room up there. that you can kind of walk around in. The attic is like the opposite of a basement, if you're familiar with what a basement is. What did the boy find in his chest? So we know, if you look back in the first sentence of paragraph 2, that he found a stack of photos. So, whoa. Stack of photos. We also know they found an old uniform and some medals from when he fought in a big war. So a uniform and some medals and a stack of photos. Now, by finding these things, what did he learn about his grandpa? So we learned that his grandpa had lots of animals to take care of on their farm. We know that his dad had to make butter from cow's milk. And I want you to find one other thing in here that we learned about his grandpa, just in paragraph 2. We know we learned that his grandpa loved taking horseback rides. And we've read stories before that and if you remember from the Oregon Trail, there were no cars. So they had to take wagons and horses to travel. Okay. Then, if we look at his uniforms and his medals, it says he won some medals for being brave. So we know his grandpa was brave and that he fought in a big war. All right. Here's what we are going to do next. You are going to find some words for me. The words that we are focusing on this week, or for this writing, actually, it was our pattern from last week, are those inflectional endings. So we are going to look for words that end in ed or ing. Now, remember, sometimes there's a double consonant, or sometimes we have to drop the e and add ed. And finally, sometimes we just have the word and we can add ed. Same thing goes for ing. Sometimes we have to double the consonant. Sometimes we have to drop the e, whoop, add ing. And sometimes we can just add ing. So you are looking for words that have the ing or the ed on the end of a base word. All right. I think I found 12 words, but as you guys know, I usually miss one. I can't remember if I found 11 or 12 last time. Actually, I think I found 11. I don't remember. So, your goal, find 11 or 12 words with ing or ed, highlight them, and then we'll see how you did. Pause the video. All right, friends, let's do this. Last week, I went to my grandpa's house. Dad and I went in the attic to look around. Dad said we might find some old toys. Instead, we found something better. Now, something does have the ing, but it is part of the word thing. That's not an ending because The TH isn't a word on its own. Something better, Grandpa's old chest. It was filled with lots of stuff from his life. So here's our first one of filled. First, we found a stack of photos. They weren't in color, they were black and white. In one photo, Grandpa was running around his farm. So we have the word running. That's a double consonant. He had lots of animals to take care of. Dad told me about a time Grandpa was making butter from cow's milk. He spilled the milk. In another photo, Grandpa was riding. So drop the E, add ing, because it's pronounced riding, not riding, to town on a horse. Dad said they didn't have cars when Grandpa was young. Grandpa loved taking horseback rides. Back then, they had no TV, no computers, and no video games. They rode horses for fun. I think I would have liked riding horses too. Then we found an old uniform and some medals. Grandpa fought in a big war. He won medals for being brave. I am planning to ask him about that. So planning, double that consonant. I learned so much about Grandpa from looking at the things from the past. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Always miss one or two. All right, my friends, that's it for today's lesson. Great job. We'll see you later.